welcome back. We are here with painfully honest interviews. Hopefully, it'll be painful. Dave, why don't you tell us some of the stuff you were telling me before we kind of got started. What's kind of your background with spicy stuff, eating spicy food?
Just saying, this reminds me of when we would do missions trips to Mexico. We would go to the local grocery store and buy a whole bunch of peppers, and they were of varying degrees of heat. And then we would sit around and take them and eat them. And if you couldn't take it, you drank or you tapped out. And yeah, so I learned after 15 years that I didn't do that anymore. I stood to the side like a smart youth pastor and didn't get involved with that anymore.
All right. So, well, I guess I should back up a little bit. So, who are you?
I'm Dave Lutzko.
Oh, we already had him on once.
Oh, I'm Dave Foster.
And I approve this message.
So I have the first sauce, Carolina-style barbecue sauce from Berman's. I don't know why we do barbecue sauce, because that's not what we're about.
The first two are barbecue sauce.
Gotcha.
I think it's you and Lindsay went and bought stuff first, and you were
Lindsay
like,
probably picked it up.
absolutely no spice.
I'm just going to throw her under the bus, but it was probably me.
So the way you do this, take a nug, get a good amount if you want, do whatever you want, and then... Oh, whoa!
Oh, no, that's okay.
That was good. You almost got me.
So Dave, what do you do at Parkview? What's kind of your role, your title?
I have been the family pastor at Parkview since 2006, typically overseeing the staff of high school, junior high, children's. But those roles kind of morph and change over the years. And lately I have been doing mostly counseling at Parkview and helping a lot with the preaching team, teaching. So I'm kind of all over the place, actually.
Yep. Does it make you feel better when you say that you got here in 2006 and that was my freshman year of college?
No.
Oh, it
Drop
doesn't?
the lid.
That was Sarah.
I'm
That
the
was-
sauce lady.
She was, what?
That
You
could be
were
interpreted in a couple
6?
different
I was
ways.
7.
7. She was 7.
2006.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is Stubbs. My favorite.
I do like Stubbs.
Spicy legendary barbecue sauce. Super good.
It's legendary.
Legendary.
Legend.
Also, you will notice that I don't over sauce.
You know, when you use the word sauce, that can be interpreted in several ways, sauce
I
lady.
don't. I only know of the one,
Oh, I
which is
see.
this
Okay.
one.
See, I'm gonna full coat them. I personally enjoy the Carolina a little bit more than I like the spicy one.
I would agree with you.
It's just a lot of pepper for the Stubbs. That's kind of, I think, what they do to make it
Not as
spicy.
much flavor.
So you came in 2006. How did you end up getting this particular job? How did you end up here, which was not just driving here?
Well, I was in the pastorate. I was a youth pastor in Nebraska in a small rural town. And I had 3 girls, and they were getting to that age where we were kind of going to have to move or not move when we'd been in that church for 18 years. I'm a big believer in staying in one place. But my oldest daughter was approaching high school. And in this Nebraska town that we lived in, it was a great place to raise a family. It was like being in Mayberry, if any of your watchers are familiar with the Andy Griffith Show. It's just a small rural area. But we decided it was time for them to have some bigger and more varied experiences. And so we talked as a family, and we decided it was time. We wanted to go to a university town so they could go to college if they wanted and stay in our home or whatever their choice was. So University, Iowa, it's right here, and we decided that would be a great place. And so our senior pastor at the time, Jeff Gilmore, called me, and we talked on the phone, and he said that he would like me to at least come and visit. So it's kind of interesting. I drove 8 hours in an old conversion van to get here for a lunch meeting with the staff. And I don't think anybody realized how far away O'Neill, Nebraska was. because after about an hour and a half, we got done with the lunch, and Nevin Sutter, who was our exec pastor, walked me to the door and says, "Well, thank you for coming." That was, there was no commitment like, "Hey, we're going to hire you," or anything like that. And I was like, "Okay." And then it was 8 hours all the way back home. So, yeah.
So 16 hours for
Yeah, for an hour and a half lunch.
Nice.
But eventually it worked out, and we moved here.
We have Deadeye Medium Mango, sweet with a touch of heat. This is a crowd favorite.
What's the crack about the Deadeye? Is it you doing that on purpose?
Nope, I am just gonna pour the sauce and leave.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
I don't know.
She's with the sauce lady, and now she's got a Deadeye.
I'm the sauce lady, and that's your sauce.
Are we on
Okay.
for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
You look a little hesitant there.
No, I'm all about it. See, I want to get all of the sauce on there. So when we get to the end ones, I'm gonna be dying.
You're gonna commit
I'm full
full
committed.
sauce.
You're just getting yourself kind of heated up so you can be ready for that.
I love mango.
Nothing can prepare you for that.
That is good stuff. I like that.
I would eat that like often on my own.
Yep.
I love it. Okay, so what got you into family ministry? Like what was the
Yeah. I started working with youth back in, my first youth group was 1977. My then girlfriend, now wife, Ione, was the Eastern Nebraska rep for junior high, and she needed help. So she recruited me, and so we started working in that. Went to Dallas Seminary after college and graduated from that. And so when this church called me and said they needed a youth pastor, I was like, I don't, wasn't going to be a youth pastor. Didn't want to be a youth pastor. But, when you serve the Lord, He has His own plans for you. And so we wound up there, and I ended up absolutely loving it. It was so, so good. And, so many of those kids I had in my youth program back then are now in their 40s and so forth. And we talk all the time, and it's fun to go and visit with them and see how they're living life. But I got involved in a ministry called Sun Life, which was teaching you how to create disciple makers. And it follows the Gospels and how Jesus made disciples. And that just really spoke to me. And in fact, I had a good friend from seminary, Neil Arnold, who called me on the phone my first year up in Nebraska. And he was like, "Hey, Dave, do you want to learn how to disciple?" And I'm like, I'm a Dallas Seminary graduate. I don't need to learn how to disciple anybody. But it turns out I did. And so I went to the weekend seminar, and man, the rest is history. I just fell in love with that. And I'm very excited and happy about the kids that have left our ministry and gone on and made disciples for the rest of their life. And that's pretty cool. So
yeah.
Okay, we have Berman's hot sauce original. Turn up the heat.
It's the original.
I would say they get a little spicy from here on out.
okay.
Okay. I don't know what's happening. I'm really sorry. Okay, hopefully that's enough.
All right.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, all right. I said I'm going full bore, so get it all on here.
That tastes very familiar. More like a Tabasco or something.
It's just kind of your run-of-the-mill hot sauce, right? Kind of like medium mild.
So far, my nose isn't running, and I haven't broken out in a sweat. So I'm good.
Which we're really good at this, or we live in the middle of Iowa, and maybe spice isn't necessarily.
Going back to your previous question, one thing that really influenced me was there was a guy who used to travel the nation to college campuses, and he would debate professors, and he wrote a book called Evidence That Demands a Verdict, Josh McDowell.
Yep.
And I got to know him a little bit, and it was interesting. After I'd been in high school ministry for so many years, he just kind of told us that the place to be was junior high, if not late grade school, because he discovered that big decisions in life are sometimes foundationally decided upon the younger you are. So when I left Nebraska to come to Iowa City, it really was with the idea of working with families and helping families prepare their children as young as, first grade, to start thinking through the issues of life and, how they could be disciple makers themselves. And that is, it's really a great goal. I'm not sure how successful we've been at that, but, one thing that Iowa City has that maybe some other places done is that people are so busy here. And helping families learn to prioritize their spiritual life with what's going on in the community is a huge goal of what we do here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, just kind of thinking here, maybe more specifically, you're thinking about leaving O'Neill, and you're looking around at different churches.
Yeah.
How many churches do you actually look at, and what was like the specific, like the Parkview, what drew you to this particular
It came
church?
down to two churches. We had one in the outskirts of Chicago in Oswego, Illinois. It's the second fastest growing county in the Illinois area. And I just loved it. I love Chicago, and I thought this was going to be, fun to get back into the city. Because I was born in San Francisco, grew up in Omaha, lived in Dallas, and there I was in this 3,900 person town of O'Neill, Nebraska. And as much as I loved it there, yeah, I loved it. I'd sometimes go out, stand in my front yard, just hoping to hear traffic noises or something. You drive 4 hours to the air. All my kids, when my wife and I had our daughters, it was an hour and a half drive to the hospital for her to have a kid. The closest Walmart was an hour and a half away.
Oh, man.
So we were out there, one traffic light in town type thing, and so Chicago seemed very attractive. However, as any of you who've been to Chicago know, if you go there and you're thinking about buying a house for a family, you realize you cannot afford housing in Chicago, And so Jeff and Nevin invited us over for lunch on our way back from Chicago, and they sat there and talked us into this, and it's like, Iowa City is much more affordable, and they just really put the hard sell on us. And the more we thought about it, we're surrounded by my family who all lives in Iowa. My mom was raised in Iowa, and we just kind of thought, yeah, this is great. And then if you've ever, come in from outside of Iowa City, it hits you for the first time as this super beautiful city. Coming down off of Dubuque, down that big hill, past the river, and it's just gorgeous. And so, that and the lure of the university just cinched it for us.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, we have Valentina Salsa Picante.
Yes, I'm always very good at
Do
pronouncing.
we have to leave you a tip?
Nope.
No?
I
That was the
would
wrong answer.
appreciate.
She did just get 4 new tires, so.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm poor.
All right, let's just get right into it. Just gotta get.
Oh my goodness.
That picked it up.
That's one of my favorites. It's only up from here.
I really felt like the mango started the heat. The original kind of backed off, and then this one kind of jumped right into that mango heat.
Yes.
The staying power is still there, so I'm, but it's not that long. So, okay, so maybe we can back up even further and say, like, what got you into ministry in general? Like, how was your life maybe before, and then was there a switch? What happened?
I grew up in a totally non-Christian family. We didn't go to church very often. I have famous or infamous stories of going to a church in Omaha with my mom, where we went like Easter, and then maybe 2 years later on Easter again. But yeah, nothing really clicked spiritually. But my brother had gone to a Bible camp, and he'd come home and shared the gospel with me, and that's when I became a Christian. But yeah, it's just, as soon as that happened, we felt such a change in our lives that we went to high school, and my brother was leading Bible studies. He went to South Omaha High School, and I went to Central High School. We called South Omaha High School Auto Tech High. That's where my wife and her brother went, so I love to remind them of that all the time. And Central, and we just had different ministries going on, but we just felt like God was calling us to reach the world for Christ. And, you know, you read the Great Commission, and there's no doubt that's what he's calling you to. And so our only question was not should I, but how do I limit myself? And when I started dating my wife, Ione, we were so involved with different ministries that we were gone 5 nights a week usually. Yeah. And crazy thing, I didn't go looking for any of them. You know, I had a guy say, hey, would you go with me to Utan, Nebraska tonight, which was 20 miles outside of Omaha. And I said, what for? And he goes, well, I've been teaching a Bible study, and I just want you to come and see what is happening. So I drove out there with him, and we got to know the people, very nice, and all this kind of stuff, and we're driving back. And then he told me, he says, well, I've been called to a new place, so I'm moving. Would you like to start teaching this Bible study?
Got him.
I'm like 17, and I'm teaching these 40-year-olds, you know, and I'm like, what? You know, and my wife's college friends, similarly, also from the University of Nebraska at Omaha, asked me to lead a Bible study on the book of Revelation, which I had no idea
way
what I was
to just
talking
dip
about.
your toe in the water
Yeah,
there.
it's like, what? So little by little, God was using those things to confirm to me that ministry might be a great vocation as well as just what I do. So, yeah, that's how we got into it.
Very nice.
We have peri peri hot sauce, a fiery Central African style sauce made with real peri peri peppers.
African style?
Yeah. I like their label. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, that guy looks like I kind of feel right now.
Like a what?
How many kinds of...
Yeah,
he's
I
got
feel like I
flames.
got a little
Come out of his
How do you
heat.
feel right now?
Yep. I mean, like, because I'm not
I'm
just...
sorry. This one's hard to get out.
That's okay. That's plenty.
I'm going hard. Got to get all the little pepper parts on there. See,
I don't like that you swirl it. It looks weird. No normal person eats their chicken nuggets like that.
I guess you're not normal. Sorry.
I get that a lot. Okay. Okay, so you talked about you attended church a little bit when you were younger. You became a Christian there sometime in your, you were teens, right?
Yeah, high school.
Okay. So what was your experience, just maybe participating or otherwise with youth group?
Our youth group was run by a wonderful couple, Bill and Nancy Thompson, and they weren't youth pastors. They were just, he was a roofer. His family owned a roofing business, and just sweethearts. And so they had for years been running that. And then another young man by the name of Ron, he also was in it. And at that time period, a huge book that had hit the Christian scene was called The Late Great Planet Earth, which was prophetic, you know, all about what's going to happen when Jesus returns. And so the youth group was reading through that. And one of the things I remember is my first night to go to youth group. Again, it was at my girlfriend's house, which I didn't really know then. But I showed up. A friend actually who...
But just the way you explained that, it sounded like you were unsure as to who your girlfriend was at that particular time.
I didn't have it at that particular time. Well, another benefit of becoming a Christian. But anyway, I got
Can't
to
be
the house.
saying things like that. Okay. Yeah,
Got to the
anyways.
house, and I was just the contrast between the world I was used to, which was so caustic, so mean, so not welcoming. And then I walk into this home where all these Christian high schoolers were, and it was just night and day. It just really impacted me. It's like, wow. And they started asking me questions. What do you like? What are you doing in school? What's your hopes? What's your dreams? But then we started getting into this book, The Late Great Planet Earth, and talking about Christ returning, and, you know, that just seemed amazing. And yes, it didn't hurt that Ione, who was a senior when I was a freshman, came over and sat next to me and started asking me all kinds of questions. So, you know, that was great. Turns out the pastor of that church had 5 daughters, of which Ione was one of them, and so he was desperate to get rid of them. So luckily, I came into the situation, and bam, there you
Right
go.
then. Right
there.
Freshman year.
Price is right.
Sorry to interrupt, gentlemen, but we have hot sauce
okay.
salsa picante de chile habanero, and it's green by El Yucateco.
I'm
Now,
very
you
excited
spent
about
a
this.
summer in Peru or something, right?
Yeah, I'm not very good at
I was going to
pronouncing
say,
things
your
in
Spanish
Spanish.
isn't just blowing me away.
Not very good. they would look at me and be like, "What?"
Yep. All right.
But
This is very
I
green.
survived. So
What you want to do is take
this one is a little
and mix it with this one.
aromatic.
Like your little Bob Ross. Then you gotta take the green and mix it with the off
Happy
red.
trees.
That was a lot.
My son-in-law Patrick and I would go to Los Portales and take several of these and pour it into one thing and then mix it up and see if we could come up with some hot stuff.
So what you're saying is
So
this is
far,
good, but
the guy who likes this the most was Jeff Gilmore.
okay.
Have you ever heard that?
No, I never knew that about Jeff.
He has, he grew up in New Orleans. He can eat hot sauce. I'm telling you, and it's amazing.
So what you're saying is we should be like emailing him, like, hey, send us your 3 spiciest.
Well, he'll be coming up here probably pretty soon, and you can just invite him to do his own interview, and then really like
Just by himself. I'll be standing off here making him eat them.
Ghost Pepper will be the first one. Just walk him up.
I would die.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could hang with that level of
Well,
heat.
you don't have to match him. Just talk to him.
Okay. I'm getting there, if you guys don't know.
Yeah.
I like
Your
spice,
face
but
is all shiny.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm not dabbing a
Yes,
little.
That's true. You're downing it.
I'm really trying to get after it here, so because I don't want to be shown up by the interns who dab and take nibbles.
Whatever. I felt like I committed.
All right, do you have a favorite memory of youth group? Something that just is.
Of when I was in it or
Yeah.
when I was running it?
Well, I'll take either.
Well,
Both. My favorite memory just from youth group would probably be the times that we would go to camp or a retreat, because of course those are crazy and wild times, and just great to get out there and be with other believers, get to know people from different cities or towns. But the great thing about it was just I loved the singing times. I really did. The music, I still think about those songs now. I just turned 60 last week, so I love those songs, and I sing them all the time in my head. and
What's
they
the
just-
#1 song that you?
I love
It's like your favorite.
Well, it was probably For Those Tears I Died, which no one knows. No one knows, because it went out of favor a long time ago. So, but that was really great. And but Ione and I ran different high school ministries. We pick up kids in North Omaha, and we'd pick up kids in the projects in South Omaha, and we would have Bible studies. And I'm always goofing around, so I remember driving the kids home, and we were singing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Now, are you familiar with that?
I am. I've heard that.
Swing low, sweet chariot. Anyway, I was
nailed
being
that.
goofy like that and just singing low. And the kids always wanted me to do that. So this one boy who was from Laosha is behind me saying, "Dave, sing low, sing low." And his friend next to him says, "That's the name of my sister." I'm like, "What?"
Swing
So-
low.
We learned songs from them, they learned songs from us, and it was always cool. And so loved that part. But as far as running youth group, just doing this kind of stuff. I miss being with kids and just the fun adventures we would have. And youth pastors are somewhat sociopathic in that they love to do things with kids that cause pain or discomfort or embarrassment, and just laugh your heads off as they go through it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We have Melinda's 4 out of 5 Flames 2018 Special Edition XXXX.
It's quad X.
Reserve
That's how many X.
habanero pepper sauce.
Do you think it means 40
Ooh,
reserve?
habanero.
Thanks. Oh, how about I'll just let you do it. Is that enough? Do you want more sauce yourself?
Mike is going for it. My
I
goodness.
have to.
I'll take
I
your
gotta
tip
show them
taps.
up.
Tip, tap, tip, tap.
Thank you.
Tap.
Oh man. Gotta get
Good
after
luck,
it.
gentlemen.
The worst part is that we're at the point where it's starting to get mixed in with some of the other ones. I don't really
your choice.
I don't really wanna do
that
this.
yourself.
It's not that bad.
Oh, I know, but all right. So do you have any kind of, I'm going to say funny stories. Funny stories. Where things maybe,
Any of them?
where things maybe didn't go quite the way you would assume they were going to go. But they ended out okay. So like,
Yeah.
I don't need your funniest story where somebody got like maimed forever, but
That
I mean, if
never
you
happened.
want.
That never happened.
Okay, sure.
But,
Yeah.
you know, my two, of course, are both from our Mexicali trip. And down in Mexicali, there's 3,000 to 4,000 students living in tents, and then you go out every day to villages. And we've done this for years and years and years. But one of the adult leaders brought their wife along with us, named Deb. And Deb was what we called a rookie. And you were defined as a rookie until you finally agreed to go to the bathroom in one of the chem cans. They had like 50 chem cans sitting there.
Maybe you gotta explain what a Kim Can is.
Yeah, it's like if you go past a road construction or a construction site, they have these plastic little buildings with a door, you know, that's your chem can. And they got very nasty because it was 120 degrees out, and there's 3,000 kids and adults using these chem cans, so they were ripe, to say the least.
Ew.
But I'm sitting in chapel one morning, and we're waiting for chapel to start, and we're in our little lawn chairs, and the heat's already getting higher and higher. And all of a sudden, this lady, Deb, who we had brought with us that year, comes up to me, and she just, BAM! Hits me right in the arm. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she goes, it's your fault. It's all your fault. And I said, what? You've called me a rookie all week long. And so I decided that today was the day I was going to go use the chem can. And I guess she stood in line, and the girl right in front of her was in the chem can. And she came out, and she had this really bad look on her face, like something had gone wrong. But now, what would you do if that was you?
Not go.
Well, or at least look in there, right, before you stepped in?
Sure.
Yeah, not Deb. She got in there, shut the door, and she just didn't want to look down that hole. So she just dropped everything and sat down. Well, this kid before her had gotten just grizzly sick, and it was everywhere. And so she, shall we say, spoiled the back of her thighs,
Oh,
the back of her calves,
no.
and there really isn't any place to wash up.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of own it.
And she still was rather fragrant when she came and hit me in the arm. And my second story from there that I love is in the afternoons, some very kind people every afternoon would let us come and do these outdoor showers. They were super cold, no hot water. So if you take your body from 120 degrees and you even put it in 70-degree water, it feels like your heart is going to stop. But nevertheless, that was our shower thing. Well, one of my boys, Zane, had been sleeping in the back of the RV, and we had all showered and we were dressed for evening services, and he wakes up and says, where are we going? And me being me, decided to say, well, funny, that house right there, which had nothing to do with us, we didn't know who lived there. So Zane gets off, and we're all watching him from the windows of the RV as he walks into the house. There's a huge German Shepherd just on the other side of the fence. And he just walks right in, and he's stroking the dog, and the dog is barking, but he doesn't seem to be bothered. And then a lady comes out with her baby, and she looks at Zane, and Zane just assumes she knows that why he's there. He walks right past her, and we're all just like, what? And about 25 minutes later, he comes out, and his hair's all washed. He's got his nice clothes on, and the lady and her husband are talking to him. And, of course, he doesn't speak Spanish, so he doesn't know what they're saying. But they're shaking his hand, and we're just like, cool. I guess that worked.
We have Mazzetta California habanero hot sauce, twist and shout. This one is the second to last one. So, oops.
Ooh.
Sorry, I give you a little much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just. It's a little hot.
I don't know. Maybe in small doses it is. It does.
Doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Oh, man. How many mission trips do you think you've been on?
Lots. I really have no idea. Lots.
Let's see. So, do you have any advice for our kids? All your experience, everything that you got, kind of what's one thing, one takeaway if they've made it to the end?
Our goal was always to look at when a student gets to be 18, and we call it the launch, right? You're either leaving home, you're definitely leaving a youth group, we don't want you anymore. But we would try to create like 4 to 6 attributes that we want this kid to have. Faithfulness, love of Christ, he's a Bible scholar, whatever it was that we had set up. And the kids that I was always excited about were not only the ones that seemed to achieve those goals, but that were bringing others with them. So we took disciple making super serious. And I had it everywhere, from kids who came in ready to go to kids who didn't make that decision to become a disciple maker till 2 months left in their senior year. But what I loved is when I would get calls from college pastors at the University of Nebraska or some other school, and they would say, wow, thanks for sending Adam to us. Adam, since he's been here, he's learned to play the guitar. He's now our worship leader. He's a small group Bible study leader. He's so involved in reaching lost people in downtown, whatever. And you're just like, why couldn't you have done this while you were here? This would have been great. But still, no, I was so excited to be part of that, to just be one part of that puzzle for that kid. So my goal for kids is, like, get serious about following Christ. And don't just stop when you think that you are being a good Christian kid or a church person. You've got to take others with you. You can't just reach a goal. As you guys know, that's a chair 3. Yep. And we really stress chair 4. We want you to do what Christ tells us to do. So.
Okay, you have made it to the end. Dave's Ghost Pepper, or Dave's Gourmet, so hot it's spooky. The spiciest thing I've ever eaten.
In your life. Yes.
Probably.
Oh my gosh, look how much you put on.
Yeah, I know why she did it. Okay.
Try to eat as much as you can. I've got milk
I'm
on
going to.
standby.
No, not me. I'm smarter than that.
I'm smarter than him. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna
It
get
makes your,
get it 100% coated.
Why don't you show that to the camera before you...
Oh my
Man.
goodness. You are going for it.
Do it.
Did you eat it last time?
So
It's new.
when Doug Fern did it, and I was spice caddying for them, I just had a little bit. And it stuck with me.
A long time.
Yeah. How are you doing?
That's hot.
Do it. As my dad would say, through the lips, past the gums, look out stomach, here it comes.
It's not tasty in...
The least.
No, it's not.
It gets back down your throat. That is hot.
I'm fine. It's fine.
He's dying. We might have to take you to the hospital.
I'm fine. So let's see.
How fine is it, Mike?
We're all fine. We're all fine. What are we doing here?
Drinking milk. Go ahead.
No. So, Dave,
Yeah, Mike.
which one was the best one?
Flavor or hot?
Flavor.
I really like this one right here. The Deadeye Medium Mango. You'll be okay?
Well,
And the milk is warm, just for the record. This is time for Diet Pepsi, right here.
Will that make it worse?
that was
That audio is going to be
that
so
was a
great.
lot.
Oh, man. Gilmore would be laughing at you.
Well, thanks for coming. I'm not gonna live, but thank you so much for
You're welcome.
showing up, doing this.
You okay?
And I died a little bit at the end, but I'm fine now, kind of. I'm just gonna get a little more milk. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.